And sitting down with me now is a former member of the women's ultimate team, Keziah Hill. Keziah, thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
First, let's talk a little about obviously the sport of ultimate and how you first started getting into it. So tell us a little about that.
Well, my dad kind of taught me about it a little bit, but it was just pickup. And then when I went to Liberty, somebody handed me like tryouts for ultimate frisbee, and I was like, okay, I kind of know how to throw the disc and stuff. We'll see what happens. So I tried out, and I actually really, really enjoyed it a lot. And learning all the strategy and everything, I was like, whoa, this is actually like a legit sport. Was really fun learning all that.
And let's talk a little about where you're from. Like, obviously, yeah, what led you to Liberty? 'Cause I know you said you dabbled a little bit in ultimate, but what was it ultimately? I know it wasn't the ultimate team that brought you to Liberty. So what was it that brought you to Liberty?
Um, my parents were missionaries, and we were looking at schools that would give really good scholarships for missionary kids, and Liberty gave us a full ride. We're going to give us a full ride. So I was like, okay, sweet. That's what we can afford. And if I can graduate school without having to pay anything, like, or have school loans or whatever, that would be great. So that's why I decided to go. I say we because my brother went too, but that's why I decided to go to Liberty, was because of full ride. So.
And talk a little about your time at Liberty. What were you studying? And then, how the time at Liberty was just impactful for you.
I was studying exercise science. It was extremely interesting, and there was a lot of opportunity to use equipment that's like super expensive. So that was cool. Learning how to test people, like their blood pressure and heart rate and all that, and while they're doing exercise, that was pretty fun. But I would also say, like, probably the most impactful was friends at school, and learning how to relate to other different kinds of people, and learning how to share the gospel with people, and realizing that not everybody who's going to Liberty is a Christian. I really liked how all the professors prayed in class. I feel like that was very helpful in learning what we are about to learn, and also just seeing the professor's heart, that they were like, yeah, we want to teach you this material, but really we want you to know God. And that was really good. That was really impactful in my life.
And you talked a little about being on the ultimate team, so I'm sure that also was a fond memory. Talk a little bit about the program with the ultimate team, because obviously it's changed a bit since you've been gone, but talk a little about when you played, and like just the memories you were able to have being a part of that team.
It was really good release for me, I guess, because it was like I'm in classes and trying to study and all that stuff, and I'm just tired, but I wanted to do something that was active, that I could just like not have to think about school or anything. And ultimate was really, really good for that. It was really good to learn structure and just learning the different strategies. It was the first time I ever really was on a team where I was coached like that for that long. Also learning how to deal with losing. My first year that we played, we lost like almost every game. But then the next year, it's like we started winning some. And then the year after that, it was like we started winning tournaments. And I was like, what in the world? This is crazy. But we went from being like 200 something, ranked 200 something in the nation, to being ranked 32nd. And so in 3 years. So that was really cool to see, like, the development of our team going from like basically really low level, didn't really know how to play, to high level ultimate, which was really cool.
And I know I saw that you, after graduating, you still dabbled a little bit in ultimate for a little bit, like obviously playing in some adult leagues. Talk a little about that, and just having fun still trying to play the sport.
My junior year, I think that summer, I played a club team. And so then it was like, I played a club team, and then I played for college, and then I played the club team again right after I graduated. And then after that, I moved to Texas. And then in Texas, I was like, well, I don't want to stop playing Ultimate because I love it so much. I love playing Ultimate. And so when I came here, I started finding pickups and stuff. And I was like, I think there'll be like a few club players that'll play in pickups, and they could probably tell me. Pretty much immediately, the club players picked me out as, oh, she knows how to play. Let's see if she wants to play on a team. And so a guy came up to me and he's like, hey, I'm playing on a mixed team. Do you want to play on the team or whatever? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly why I came over here. And so I tried out for their team, and their team was the best mixed team in Houston. there's my daughter, Zena. Say hi, Zena. Say hi. Anyways. Oh, there, she's waving. And so then I played for them, and they were the best mixed team in Houston. But then the year after that, he wasn't my husband at the time, but he was playing with a men's team. They decided to go mixed. I promised them that I would play on their team if they went mixed. And I feel like I almost said that a little too soon, but the reason why I really wanted to play with them is that most of them were Christians, and it was really hard. It was really hard to play on a team that was so secular. Like nobody was Christians. I think there might have been one or two, but it was just really hard because that's why I really wanted to play with this men's team, because most of them were Christians. And anyway, so I promised them that I'd play with them, but then I had an opportunity to play for a women's team or try out for a women's team in Austin, which is a couple of hours away from here. But they were ranked nationally, like they've been to nationals several times. And so I tried out for their team, but I kind of told them, like, I'm not really gonna, I'm probably not going to be able to play with you guys, but I might be able to be on practice squad and stuff. And so I tried out for it, and they're like, yeah, you would have made it. You're definitely can play practice squad. And I was so excited. I was like, I can't believe that. And it all started with like Jonathan Mask, teaching me and all of that. And so I called him and I was like, hey, I made this team, but I promised another team I would play with them, so I'm not going to play with them. And he was like, what? He was like so excited. He knew what team it was because he had watched nationals for women's and stuff, trying to coach and all that. But it's fun that my husband actually loves to play Ultimate too. So now we've been playing on leagues together and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Well, I was going to ask you also, like, obviously you told me a little about Ultimate, but what you've been doing post Liberty and Ultimate. But now, yeah, what have you been doing as well since you graduated from Liberty? Obviously, I know you got married and have a daughter, but yeah, tell me about life since the Liberty.
So I was working at the YMCA when I was at Liberty, like at the end of my year, because I was doing my internship there, and then I started personal training there. That's what I wanted to do after when I went to school. I went to do personal training. I know it doesn't make as much, but I really, really like helping people that way, and I feel like it's an easier way to share the gospel with people because you're like one-on-one with them. So when I graduated, working at the YMCA, and then I left there to Houston, and then I started working at a women's only gym called Pure Fitness, and I was working there for a little while. And then when I got married, I still worked there, but then once I had our daughter, I was like, okay, me and my husband were both like, okay, well, you're going to be home and raise her, because basically my salary would go to like her being raised by somebody else, and it's like, why do I want to do that when I can raise her? And we decided that would be what's best for our family. So that's what I'm doing now. But surprisingly, I feel like I'm more busy than when I was working at the gym.
Oh yeah, no, I could imagine. Well, Keziah, thank you again for sitting down with us and giving us a little insight, not only your time at Liberty, but then what life's been like since Liberty. And thank you again for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.